Welcome back. In earlier session, we have seen how to insert the details into database, JPA database. Now we will see how to retrieve the details from the JPA H2 database. For that, we need to use JPA repository. So we need to extend from JPA repository. So for that we need to create one interface, that is student repository, and that is going to extend with JPA repository. So let us create a student repository here itself. If we needed a separate package, we can also define separate package. So as of now, not required. I am going to define interface. So here interface, I am going to define student repository. Student repository is defined. This is an interface, so I will extend JPA repository, and this will call student object, and here student object and the primary key will be integer. So accordingly we need to define. What is the error? JPA repository extends public interface. Normally automatically we will get the token. We will see. JPA repository, and here student comma integer, and this is a repository and student comma integer. Earlier integer means comma missed, that is the reason it is giving error. So now we got it, student repository. Now what we have to do is, this student repository is going to refer at a student business service. So this one we need to define as auto wiring also, because we need to retrieve the details from repository. So for that, auto void private student repository, you can define. This is the object instance. So using this we can define, and we have to import the respective student repository, whichever the folder, whichever the package we have used. Now similarly we need to retrieve the details. So as of now, how many details are there? 3 are there. So let me define 2 more details here. So here I am going to define 10,002, 10,003, and Vasu, Hyderabad, and Naga, Chennai. We can give this 3. So now 3 records are there. Earlier 1 record. Now these 3 records are going to insert, and at the same time we need to retrieve using the student repository. So how we are going to retrieve means, from student business class we have defined the student repository. So we can define public, and that is a list type, list of records. So we can get list student, and you can define get all students. You can define all students, and repository is this one, return dot find all. You can use find all. So here if you see, many methods will be there. If you want find all, delete, so all rest operations you will be able to see here. Whichever you want, you can use it. So I am using find all. Next, this one I need to call from the controller. So how I can call controller? I will define one more method as it is, because this is a rest call. So here all students I am going to call as all students, and get student business repository, details from repository, and this one is whichever the method, get all students, right? We have used get all students. Now add cast to, because that is a list, so we have to define the list. That is a list. That is the reason it was giving error. Now my program is ready. Using this data SQL, 3 records will be inserted. Using repository, we can retrieve the details. So first we will verify in database whether those 3 records presented or not. When we run the program, these 3 records automatically will be inserted. That is the beauty of Hibernate. So let me run, and using JPA we can retrieve all rest operations. Now we can see server is starting. Yes, server is started and no issues identified. Go to your browser and console, you can verify, and it will get refresh. You can connect. Now you can click student and verify. Cool, you got these 3 records. You can double check whether what are all the records we have. So 10,003 Nagas Chennai, it was matching. Now we need to verify from the browser also. We need to verify all the records, all students. I think path is incorrect. So what is the path I have given in controller? All students. I have given all students. You can go here and give, click. See, cool, you got all the details. This is how we can retrieve the details using a JPA repository. So let me summarize what and all I have done. So first, data.sql, I have defined 2 more records. Then I have defined student repository, that is an interface and extending from JPA repository, and student and integer is an ID. So this ID in student object, this is an ID type. So that is the reason I have defined. Once the repository is ready, and we have already defined the student business service, from there student repository we are getting as a find all, delete, or many inbuilt methods will be there. Using that we can retrieve, we can delete, we can find any record, and this method we are calling from the controller. So this is how we are going to perform REST operations. And so far we have seen how to connect with the database, and how to insert details into database, and how to retrieve. And in next session we will see how to write a JUnit test case for this kind of REST services. And our REST services are talking with the database also. So let us see in other examples in next session. Till then, thank you.